Hey, my children, my kitty carryalls, my little odd broads and odd dudes. So, breaking news just broke out a few minutes ago. R. Kelly convicted on child pornography charges at a federal trial in Chicago, acquitted of conspiring to obstruct justice. So, yeah. This is what it is. In a split verdict after a hotly contested trial, in a federal jury in Chicago on Wednesday convicted disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly on child pornography charges for videotaping himself sexually abusing his then 14-year-old goddaughter decades ago. Kelly was also found guilty on 3 counts of 3 out of 5 counts related to enticement of a minor, but in a rare blow for federal prosecutors, the jury acquitted Kelly and 2 co-defendants on charges of they conspired to retrieve incriminating tapes to hide Kelly's sexual misdeeds. After about 11 hours of deliberation, the jury found Kelly, now 55, guilty of 3 of the first 4 counts of the indictment, which charged the singer with the sexual exploitation of Jane for the purpose of producing the child pornography. If you guys do not remember or do not recall, it's the video of him peeing on the 14-year-old. But in the Surviving R. Kelly documentary that's currently on Netflix, it goes into detail where the woman who brought her niece, that was her niece, into it, but she didn't know she was going to get, groomed into having a sexual liaison or being groomed by R. Kelly himself, and all this other shit went down. There was a lot of videos that went viral. Like, it didn't go viral. I mean, it was multiple copies that were out on the street, This was back in the 90s. And from what I remember being, both on the news or, just a word of mouth from people, that there was a sex tape with R. Kelly peeing on the kid. So, yeah, this is really... I mean, how can you not? Because the first time they brought it up into the evidence, they said it was inadmissible because they couldn't prove that person was 14. But in admission, the girl admitted she was 14 at the time. So yes, it is admissible, and yes, it is considered child pornography. Don't give a shit how rich you are or how famous you are. You're still gonna get busted for all the crap you do. Those charges carry a minimum of 10 years in prison. U.S. Attorney John Losh told reporters Wednesday that Kelly could face up to 90 years in prison for the convictions he received. The prosecutors will request that his sentence be served consecutive to the 30 years he received for racketeering conspiracy in the New York federal case. When we have instances where defendants are convicted of committing horrific acts against other individuals, it's separate and apart from other horrific acts that he committed against other individuals. We're asking for that sentence to be consecutive, he said. Kelly was acquitted, however, on the count of alleging he videotaped himself having sexual contact with Jane, and prosecution witness Lisa Van Allen, while Van Allen and Jane testified that the threesome occurred and was videotaped. The jurors did not view footage from that encounter. Prosecutors said that because Kelly's enablers successfully concealed it, which means they hid evidence. And like I said, there was the documentary, there was some people coming out saying that he did record his interactions with the minors he did have sex with, and he would go trolling for underage girls. He would be hanging around high school, shopping malls, shit like that, or he would have his girls be bringing them in. So the one-time superstar, dressed in a blue suit and tie and black glasses, stared straight ahead and had no noticeable reaction to the jury's decision. Despite his conviction on the most serious counts, his attorney, Jennifer Bojan, whatever, pumped a fist and bumped Kelly's back as some of the not guilty verdicts were read. Kelly's co-defendants, Milton June Brown and Daryl McDavid, were acquitted on all charges against them. Kelly and McDavid were acquitted on charges that they conspired to obstruct justice in Kelly's 2002 Cook County case. 2 men were acquitted on charges that they received child pornography. As he was not found guilty, it's because they couldn't find the tape. As he was found not guilty on the last counts against him, McDavid shot up from the seat in the middle of the courtroom and both fists towards the ceiling. Later, he bear hugged Kelly and later appeared to whisper something in his ear before the singer was led away to lockup by Deputy U.S. Marshals. After court, McDavid's attorneys asked U.S. District Judge Harry Linenweber if their client could get his ankle monitor removed, given his complete exoneration. The judge said he wasn't even sure of the procedure. That's doesn't happen often, he said, but it should be done immediately. As attorneys packed up the things, McDavid said, "I'm buying drinks tonight." In the lobby of the Dirksen U.S. courthouse after court, Bogine told reporters that she believed McDonald and Brown were charged only to try to get them to cooperate with investigators. "Absolutely, that's how the government rolls," Bogine said. "They don't even believe their own evidence, so they need to put pressure on other people to try to get them to flip. That's exactly what happened, and I'm glad they got it, but that didn't work out for them." Jurors acquitted Kelly and his co-defendants on all counts related to their alleged attempt to cover up incriminating tapes, while Kelly was awaiting trial in Cook County. Well, the thing was, people actually know that there was tapes that did exist. Even his own damn business manager knew about it. Aaliyah's uncle knew about it. People that hung around R. Kelly knew about the tapes. But when he got arrested and shit went down, they all disappeared. So they can't really say that they didn't exist when people knew about it. You know what I'm saying? So they also pressured the person in the video, Jane, to keep quiet about her sexual contact with the singer. So they probably did witness intimidation, because that's how that shit happens too. Prosecutors' case hinged in the part word of prosecution witnesses Charles Freeman and Lisa Van Allen, whose defense attorneys repeatedly characterized as liars and extortionists. In closing arguments, Kelly attorneys Jennifer Bogine and James Parents lied about her relationship with the singer, not because they were pressured, but because they didn't care. They condoned it. Lives are complex, and for the fist pounding and outraged the family that made a decision that they had to live with all the time. How could you fucking condone a relationship with an old man? That's what I don't get. I mean, yeah, I know now, this day and age, people really don't care. They say age is just a number. Age is not just a number, and that just makes you a fucking pervert. No matter how old you are, and there's that damn big age gap, there's something fucking wrong with you. If you're a 20-year-old, if you're 21, 25, and you're fucking around with a 15, 16-year-old, something's really wrong with you. If you're looking at a fucking 12-year-old the wrong way, you're going to get fucking shot. That's all I'm saying. Because people these days do not fucking play around, especially when it comes to their kids. I mean, I'm a parent myself, and if someone looked at my kid fucking around, you're fucking losing eyeballs. Like, seriously. So... Defense attorneys for Kelly and McDavid both noted that the statute of limitations element of the charge conspiring to obstruct justice, it depended on proving that they acted to further the conspiracy at some point after July 2014. Even the conspiracy existed, and the defense argued it could not have lasted for long after Kelly's acquittal in 2008. In a news conference after court, McDavid's attorney, Bo Brindley, said their verdict proved out Van Halen and Freeman were liars. Witnesses choose to lie and implicate this man and drag him through the experience from 2019 until today. Brindley said now it's over. While Kelly was convicted on enticement counts regarding witnesses Jane, Nia, and Pauline, he was not found guilty on two others. I'm assuming Nia and Pauline are Joycelyn and the other Dominique. I think that was her name, Dominique, or I can't remember her name. Jurors acquitted Kelly of enticement related to Tracy, who the only witness whose age at the time alleged her account with Kelly was significantly challenged. Tracy testified that she was 16 in 1999 and started working as a record label intern and met R. Kelly. They began having sexual contact not long afterward. She said, including a harrowing encounter at the Westin Hotel. However, Tracy filed a lawsuit in 2001 saying that her sexual contact with R. Kelly began a year later when she was 17 and the age of consent in Illinois. So they probably did do the witness intimidation with her, saying that you better fucking lie on this shit, you know? What do you think, Frankie? Oh, it's my cat. Oh, Frankie. He's like right by me. He's being a baby. Okay. Prosecutors noted in our closing arguments that what matters is the federal charge is that she was still under the age of 18. But Kelly's defense seized on it in the witness of her overall unreliability. It says it shows that one encounter with Kelly at the Westin Inn Hotel fact was occurred when she was 18. Jurors also acquitted Kelly on one count of enticement related to Brittany, whom prosecutors said would call to the stand but never did. Jurors instead were told to rely on two other witnesses' testimonies that Kelly had threesomes with them and Brittany when they were underage. But defense attorneys seized the fact that the jurors never heard from the woman herself. Who is Brittany and where is Brittany? Attorney Jennifer Bogine said in closing arguments. Earlier Wednesday, the jury had sent out serious notes to the judge, including one informing that the court they were undecided on two counts against the two defendants. The verdict comes 14 years after Kelly's infamous acquittal on similar charges in Cook County, when they were based on a single video of Kelly allegedly abusing Jane in a hot tub room in his former home on West George Street in the late 1990s. Prosecutors said Jane had lied in a state grand jury investigating the tape, claiming she wasn't the girl depicted, that she and Kelly had never had a sexual relationship. Her absence at the 2008 trial was the defining factor in the jury finding him not guilty. Jurors in Kelly's current case have alleged her silence was no accident, but the result of a year-long criminal conspiracy by Kelly and his co-defendants to keep Jane and the other minor victims from cooperating with law enforcement to buy back and cover up incriminating sex videos that Kelly had made. So there is acknowledgement that the videos were made, and there's actually word of mouth that those videos were made and replicated actually. So there could be still copies of that out there, and people who actually have them are fucking just gross. I mean, come on. How are you gonna sit there and be like, oh, like strong ass R. Kelly supporter, and you have fucking one of his tapes? That's nasty. After maintaining a relationship with Kelly for years afterward, Jane began cooperating 3 years ago with a federal investigation initiated after the airing of the 2019 Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly. So when this whole Surviving R. Kelly came out and the aftermath came out, people were starting to come up and chime in and all this other shit. People came out of the woodwork to tell their stories and their encounters with R. Kelly himself, whether they were fans, people he worked with, just shit, shit like that happened. Kelly was indicted on July 2019 on charges of producing and receiving child pornography, enticing minors for sex, obstruction of justice. Also charged were his former business manager, Daryl McDavid, and ex-employee Milton June Brown, who are accused of assisting with the cover-up of Kelly's sexual misconduct. During the 5-week trial, the jury was shown clips from 3 separate videos allegedly depicting Kelly abusing Jane, using the same tape from his Cook County trial, as well as another where he instructed her to repeatedly to refer to her 14-year-old genitalia. Oh, God. That's just... Ugh. Last month, Jane testified for the first time. Not only was it her on the videotapes, but Kelly had sexually abused her innumerable times when she was a minor in his recording studio, his home, tour buses, and hotel rooms. Asked on the witness stand why, after 2 decades of silence, she finally decided to speak out, Jane said, "I became exhausted with living with Kelly's lies." In her closing argument Tuesday, Kelly's attorney, Jennifer Bogine, talked at length about Kelly's relationship with Jane and her family, which continued far beyond her alleged abuse as a minor as well, according to Bogine, was approved by her parents. I mean, because they were probably getting paid off. I mean, how fucking sick are you to fucking, just sell off your kid to a pedophile? I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves. It's an inconvenient reality for the government, Bogine says. Lives are complex, and for these fist-pounding and outrage, the family made a decision that they did have to live with it. Her parents lied to the grand jury about her relationship with the singer because they didn't care. She was 17, and they didn't care. They condoned it. She noted that when Surviving R. Kelly was coming out, Jane repeatedly reached out to Kelly, but he never tried to influence her in any way. He changed his phone number. He goes silent on her and this is the most disinterested person in obstructing that I've ever seen. In rebuttal, however, U.S. Attorney Janice Appington said the evidence was clear that Kelly was a serial sexual predator and that his co-defendants made the decision to help him hide it to keep his career intact and keep minding their own pockets. What Kelly wanted to have was to have sex with young girls, Appington said. And when the people around him they wanted to help their boss, helping him to help him get away with it as well. Appleton also urged the jury to pay special attention to Jane's testimony and the videotapes of her abuse. You say how Kelly was using her body. You saw how he was abusing her body, flipping her over, throwing her around like she was some rag doll. This is what the case is about. The verdict marked the second criminal conviction for Kelly in the past year in 2021. The federal jury in Brooklyn found him guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, and other counts alleging Singer used his organizations to lure and trap girls, boys, and young women to sexually satisfy his predatory desires. He was sentenced in June to 30 years in a federal prison by U.S. District Judge Ann Donnelly. So this is still a developing thing, so if there's more, I will post more about it or record more about it. But like I said, if you watch that docuseries and even if you just watch videos of R. Kelly and interacting with his fans, you can see the creep factor in him just like leering at the girls. And that's just fucking wrong in all sense. I mean, I don't get how people can just condone such behavior because you're a celebrity. I just don't get the whole thing. If you're a celebrity and you feel that you have to go prey on underage people, you're a piece of shit. You're trying to use star power to get what you want. You're a fucking piece of shit. Parents who sell off their kids or basically rent their kids to those celebrities for whatever, you guys are piece of shits too. I mean, I don't understand why you're a parent if you're gonna fucking do that. Sell your fucking self. Don't be selling no kids. What the hell's wrong with you? And what I think is the people that were the parents of the minors that were abused by Kelly should be questioned. What were your motives? What were you getting out of it? But yeah, this was a breaking news point, I guess. So yeah, Thursday night I'll be doing Albert Fish. I know I keep repeating it, but like I said, life catches up to you, and I was preoccupied with work and shit. So, yeah. I'll check you out Thursday. So, see you guys later. Bye.